The federal government wants to restart Indian Point. $10 billion, 5 years, and a plant that sits on top of an active seismic zone that just produced an earthquake 4 days ago. Here is what is actually on the table and why Westchester's answer may not matter. This is the Westchester Brief. I'm Jim. Let's get into it. On March 6th, Congressman Mike Lawler stood at the gates of the shuttered Indian Point Energy Center in Buchanan, alongside United States Energy Secretary Chris Wright and Holtec International CEO Chris Singh. Their message was blunt. They want to rebuild and reopen the nuclear facility. Wright estimated the project would cost a little more than $10 billion and take roughly 5 years. A revived Indian Point could generate 2.2 gigawatts of power, enough to supply 1.5 million homes. For context, when Indian Point closed in 2021, it left a significant gap in the regional power grid that has been filled largely by natural gas. But here is where this gets complicated. When Indian Point shut down, a legal agreement went into effect. That agreement requires unanimous consent from 5 parties before any nuclear energy can be produced at the site again. Those 5 parties are the Village of Buchanan, the Town of Cortland, Westchester County, New York State, and the Hendrick-Hudson School District. Right now, the scorecard is lopsided. Buchanan Mayor Teresa Knickerbocker supports reopening. She called the closure a mistake, but County Executive Ken Jenkins said flatly that restarting Indian Point is not welcome in Westchester County. Governor Hochul has been equally direct. She will not support reopening and is instead pushing her ratepayer protection plan, a strategy focused on keeping energy costs down without nuclear. That means at least 2 of the 5 required votes are firm no's. Under the current legal framework, reopening cannot happen without all 5 agreeing. So why does this still matter? Because the federal government is signaling it may try to override that local agreement. Lawler has introduced legislation that would create a federal pathway to restart decommissioned nuclear plants. If Congress passes that bill and the president signs it, the local consent requirement could become irrelevant. This is the tension at the center of the story. It is not really about nuclear energy. It is about who gets to decide what happens in your community. A federal government that wants to repower a plant versus local officials and residents who shut it down for reasons that have not changed. And those reasons are worth remembering. Indian Point sits near the intersection of 2 active seismic zones. The Ramapo Fault runs within a mile or 2 of the facility. Holtec is currently in the middle of a 12 to 15-year decommissioning process, moving spent nuclear fuel into dry cask storage and dismantling the reactors. Reversing that process is not a simple restart. It is a rebuild from the ground up at a cost that could rival the original construction. The next move to watch is Lawler's legislation in Congress. If it advances, expect legal challenges from the county and the state. This story is just getting started. Here is what else is happening across Westchester this week. A coyote in the Eastchester and Bronxville area tested positive for rabies after attacking 3 people and 6 dogs on March 9th near Siwanoy Country Club and Twin Lakes Park. Eastchester police located and euthanized the animal, but the Westchester County Department of Health is warning residents that additional coyotes may be in the area. Anyone bitten or scratched should seek medical attention immediately and call the health department at 914-813-5000. The New York State Energy Research and Development Authority awarded Westchester County $3 million for a zero-emission microtransit pilot. The program will deploy up to 5 electric vehicles providing on-demand rides in Peekskill, Cortland, Buchanan, Verplanck, and Montrose, connecting residents to Metro North, Beeline bus routes, and the Veterans Affairs Hospital. And the affordable housing lottery for 99 Church Street in White Plains closes on Monday, March 16th. 68 newly renovated condominiums are available to households earning at or below 100% of the area median income. Move-ins are expected to begin in July. Details and applications are at homeseeker.westchestergov.com. That is your Monday. If you are not already subscribed to the newsletter, head to iLiveHereWestchester.com. Every episode delivered to your inbox with links and context you will not get anywhere else. I'm Jim and I live here. I'll see you tomorrow.